Coming back again with a little fight reaction and results after the Davison Figueiredo versus Alex Perez fight card. We saw Valentina Shevchenko continue her dominance, but the Davison Figueiredo in the same boat. The flyweights are looking like there's not too many contenders in the future. Davison Figueiredo just booked his next one in a couple of weeks on December 12th with Moreno. I can't blanking on his first name right now. Brandon Moreno, right? But quick turnaround for him. What are some takeaways from that main event you saw tonight?
Yeah, so Figueiredo made a nice defense of his title within 2 minutes of the first round. Perez was really focused, and Figueiredo, on the other hand, was very relaxed. Perez came in, tried to take him down after a couple of maybe leg kick exchanges. Tried to take him down right away, given that he's the better wrestler, and that seemed like his plan, but Figueiredo was beautiful in the transitions. He caught his leg first, looking for a leg lock. Then Perez went for the back of Figueiredo, and then Figueiredo just turned on him, jumped on a guillotine. And then, as we said before, Figueiredo has more power and strength than anybody we've ever seen in the flyweight division, and got the tap.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I feel like it was a good fight, good performances, but I feel like it left a lot to be desired. I think that could have been a great fight if it kept going or Perez got out. I think there would have been some sick scrambles, and both of those guys hit hard and are so explosive for that division, which has kind of been historically boring. But have you seen anybody make waves about the fence grabs from Figueiredo?
No, I saw the ref smack his hand a couple of times off the cage, but not really too many complaints from reporters or fans or anything like that.
Yeah, I've seen some murmurs on the forums just about how on that whole guillotine exchange, or where he caught him in the guillotine previously, it looked like he might have gotten taken down if he didn't grab the fence, but I thought that was interesting. But I don't see anyone taking the belt from Figueiredo anytime soon, and not Moreno in a couple of weeks either.
Yeah, I think he'll have the same problem that Demetrius had back in the day when Demetrius just would beat everybody in his path, but I think there'll be more eyes on flyweight right now because he finishes fights way more than any other flyweight fighter ever has. So, and he has that look, that cockiness to him, and he just goes in there to kill, and he does that. So he'll have a lot of eyes on him.
Right.
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting fight too. Figueiredo versus Demetrius Johnson. That'd be.
Yeah, or Henry too, if he ever wants to go back to 125.
Very true.
But I don't know. I think he's gonna reign for a while, like you said.
Then another one we're talking about with having a problem with the contenders. Valentina, another dominant ass win against Maya. That one guy everyone was saying was sweating his ass off in that second round when Maya won that second round, and Valentina said afterward too that just I can't get anyone to fight. I fight so kind of infrequently. That was I needed to get back into the swing of things, and then once I got into it, it was all domination from there. Didn't get the finish, which I was worried about also. I don't think you can ever bet or predict, especially in these high-level women's stuff, which way it's going to go, whether it's going to be decision, submission, TKO. I feel like shit just happens. It's just easier to bet the money line. So 20/20 hindsight on that, but what about the Shevchenko fight?
Yeah, Shevchenko, she won the first round. Second round, she was in real trouble, and Maya actually did really well. And everyone was like, damn, dude, Maya might take it, but I never felt that way. It was just because whoever Shevchenko's fought, especially at flyweight, she just rolled over so easily. Has just lost one round when she first won the belt against Joanna Jędrzejczyk. But so the line after round 2 dropped from minus 1,800 to 2,000 to minus 350, just because of that one round. There was 3 minutes of ground control time, but then Shevchenko rounds 2, 3, 4, 5 dominated. She wrestled her, she kept her down, and then beat her up on the feet every time they exchanged as well. And I had one more stat for you guys. We got Valentina came in with only 2 seconds of bottom time at flyweight.
Damn.
And now she's up to 2.5 to 3 minutes just from the Maya fight. So that's how dominant she's been. That's why the line was so wide. But yeah, she got it done, and there was no question about that 49-46.
The Shevchenko sisters they're wrestling and grappling is getting sick for Muay Thai world champions, and that being all of their base. Their grappling or wrestling in particular has been getting great, especially after Antonina gets choked out and totally outclassed on the ground by Chikagian, and then comes out and out wrestles and kind of grapples a Brazilian jiu-jitsu girl. So good on the Shevchenko's grappling.
I'm working on it.
Then we got the fight before the co-main here with the Dirty Bird, one of my favorite nicknames in the whole fucking UFC. The guy's just a real beast. Spent like 3 years in prison, meth addict, and just really turned his shit around. And is a man who can dance with the devil for sure. Mike the Refrigerator Perry, coming in not looking good, giving up 4 pounds. And honestly, once I saw that how badly he missed weight and stuff, I threw a good amount of bread on Tim Means to get it done, and he pulled through for me. And Mike Perry just seems like, he might always be an exciting guy, but is never going to be above the middle tier.
Yeah, I think he's a good, powerful welterweight, but until he gets real help, I know the no cornerman worked for him against Mickey Gall a couple of months ago, but this time he struggled to make weight. I just feel like if he had more guidance towards that, or towards even during the fight, he could have done better. He has potential. He actually won the first round, but then Tim Means with that beautiful punch combinations, especially that jab was really fast. He just cut him up completely, and then he took rounds 2 and 3. Although round 3 was a sick round, just standing and banging in the middle for both of them. But Means would land like 3 or 4. And Perry would come back with one big haymaker, but Tim Means deserved that win. He deserves all the 30% he got from Perry, and he said he clearly needed it for his kids and stepkids and all that. Yeah,
he was like,
so good for him. Like, I'm glad he won too. So he got win money and that extra 30% from Perry. He deserved it.
I was laughing. In this post fight, they were like, "What does it mean to miss weight?" And he was like, blah, blah, it's an extra 30 grand in my whatever. I was like, exactly. Good shit, Tim Means. Good that he cashed out on that, and didn't take a big kind of bump in his career, or deficit in his career from losing to Mike Perry, who came in that heavy, really.
Yeah, and they were talking about, they were asking Dana about should Mike Perry be cut because of his weight cuts, and because he was just so he was like not even sorry about it. He was, he dabbed after missing weight by 4.5 pounds, which is a lot. So do you have any thoughts on that? You think he should be cut, or and now he's 7-7 in the UFC or something like that?
Yeah, well,
so
Dana,
not the best record.
Dana said it too, right? Where, he's not I think he said something like he's not the best of the best or whatever, but he's an exciting guy, and he's absolutely right. I'll always tune in when Mike Perry's fighting, and whether it's just to see the antics and to, be like, this guy's a bum right now, or to be like, look at this, he's a clown, and then he might KO somebody, and I feel like that's kind of the way the fickle MMA masses go. That when I'm clear-headed and stuff, I totally agree that, not a good look, not professional, maybe should be worthy of being cut, but then, you watch a couple embeddeds or you watch a couple videos, and you're like, oh, check this guy, he's a character with it, and I think he's good for the brand, so I think you keep him.
Yeah, I agree too. Like, he's 100% entertainment every time he steps in, even, when you watch embedded and things like that. Like, he walked out to Halo and he was singing along to it. Like, nobody else does that, before a fight.
So
there is that entertainment value.
Right, apparently, so he was saying, like, I didn't pick this song or whatever, right? I think it's bullshit. Hot take, I think it's bullshit. I think he picked that goddamn song. The commentators after were like, you have to pick the song or whatever. Like, you picked it. And I think he picked that shit, and that was a whole charade that he had planned to be like, this isn't my song, but I guess I'll be cool and rip to Beyonce.
Next, we had the active Caitlin Chukagian. She took on Cynthia Calvillo, and Ian got this right on the money. He predicted that she's going to keep her distance and strike. It's not going to be the most entertaining fight, but she's going to get the job done, and she did. Caitlin Chukagian won a decision right on the money from Ian.
Yeah, she's coming in with a 5-inch height advantage, a good 4-inch reach advantage, and Calvillo is somebody who doesn't really fight long at all. She kind of fights very short. And I didn't see that she had the ability to close the distance and get it to the ground, and that's kind of exactly what played out. Calvillo just wasn't tenacious enough with her wrestling in her plan of attack and just let Chukagian get her ha-has out and rack up the points.
Yeah, she won 3-0 on rounds, and that was a nice underdog pick. Made a lot of my money back that I'd lost earlier.
I wish I switched her. Yeah, I wish I switched her in my
Shogun.
parlay with Shogun.
Yeah.
Fucking blew
That
it.
would have been nice. But yeah, Chukagian, she did what she had to do. I like how she's staying busy even. So she got battered by Shevchenko, then came back and beat her sister. And she got knocked out by Andrade and then came back and beat Kavia. And this is all in 2020. So I respect the fact that she's being active, she's putting in the work.
Grinded.
She's not getting too disheartened by, all these finishes, like lost finishes. And she's just doing her thing.
And then next fucking bum on the goddamn card. It's always one person on the fucking card tonight that just stabs it right in my back. This time it was Mauricio Shogun, who, words of Dana White quoting him, just looked like a shell of his former self. I was so confident watching their first fight that Shogun was going to make the adjustments and not get caught on the feet in the first round. And Paul Craig just came out with some different grappling and wrestling offense that we haven't really seen from him too much previously.
Yeah, so Craig, we've seen him do damage from the bottom, but he normally doesn't shoot that many takedowns. And actually, when the first takedown he got on Shogun, Shogun like busted his elbow really bad, and then he said that I knew it was gonna be a long night after that. And then
I didn't hear that he broke his.
Yes, dude. If you look at that picture, man, it's gross. He fucked it up pretty bad. So I feel bad for him. But yeah, he didn't look like himself. Maybe because of the injury, maybe because of the age. He's 38, fought a million times in MMA. And Craig had a plan, stuck to it, and a lot of people were pissed because it could have been a technical submission because he tapped up strikes. And because he tapped the strikes, but I guess they called it a TKO, so those guys lost a bunch of money. But I guess it happens, We lose some.
I didn't even think of that. Anyone who had
because
Craig by sub
exactly,
would have gotten that from the tap out.
He's so known for the submissions.
I wonder, is that how the rules work? If you tap out, is that considered a submission?
You submit, right, when you tap.
I guess
think
you're
it's
right.
a technical it's a submission.
Yeah, you're right. Gotta be right.
But they call it TKO. Some people must be pissed about that. I hope FanDuel refunds them a little.
I don't know.
Probably won't. But good on the Bear Jew, man. He came, did his thing.
Yeah, that dude always pulls it out. You got to give it a fuck. And he's a guy you like to watch see win. Ask him about the oil check afterwards, saying it gave him a pep in his step and blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, good to hear from Paul Craig.
He's entertaining, too. I enjoy him. But I just
Scouser.
thought Shogun was the better fighter, but unfortunately it didn't work out our way.
So next up, we got the upcoming flyweight contender with Brandon Moreno, who's going to fight Davidson Figueiredo on December 12th. Got a nice win over Brandon Royval. I saw him winning the fight, even if Royval didn't get an injury and it went the whole distance, but still a great fight on this card.
Yeah, I actually love watching the high-level flyweights go because they're so fast. They might not hit the hardest, but they come at you from different angles, and they're so quick at everything, at their takedown, striking, clinch. They just are faster than anyone else because they're so quick, because they're so light and nimble. But obviously Moreno got the takedown. He was in control most of the time. Almost got the rear naked. Good on Royval for fighting it off and showing heart like he always has, creating that dirty scramble. But unfortunately during that scramble, popped his shoulder out and then ate a lot of strikes. Still Royval was trying to fix his shoulder while defending punches. That was pretty crazy to watch. I can't believe someone's shoulders popped out and he's just eating punches while trying to pop it back. But they stopped the fight at a good time. He seemed in real pain.
Yeah, he's a dog. Dana definitely loves him. He's definitely going to be a UFC guy. Yeah, he's definitely fun to watch, and you just kind of get that energy. Even if you don't know him, you're kind of drawn towards his fighting style and how he moves and how quick they are. But definitely, I think Moreno should be next in line for the flyweight. But also, I don't see him posing too much of a problem for Figueiredo. But definitely, I think deserves the shot after that win over Royval.
Yeah, and I picked Royval, but I agree Moreno is a better fighter on the night. And I would just like to see more rounds because they're so good. None of them are scared to go forward so fast, I said. And yeah, I just wish we saw a couple more rounds or a round and a half more than we did, but happens.
One of many sick fights on the card.
Yeah, definitely. Then we had Joaquin Buckley coming off that spectacular spinning kick knockout of Impa a month ago. He knocked out Jordan Wright with punches, and yeah, I think he looked great. He said he was a little nervous, but once he adjusted and got into the right frame of mind, he was all over right.
Yeah, that guy looks like a fucking action figure, right? It's like he's like 80% pecs and shoulders. But interesting enough, everyone's saying that too. But he comes in a couple pounds underweight, so I think it might be in boxing that Mike Tyson kind of attack and approach is really not too much you can do about it, especially in boxing. But I think there's some other avenues to kind of deal with that kind of threat in MMA, and I'd be interested to see how Joaquin Buckley does moving forward with some of those other guys that can have good, whether it be like Taekwondo or her long and rangy or her wrestling specialists or something. People who aren't going to do a little better of moving their head and staying out of the way from the heavy hands. But if he keeps getting matched up with strikers like that, I don't think he's going to be running through some people, and I can't see the UFC trying to stop his hype train anytime soon. So I can see the Buckley train keeping rolling for a couple of fights.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And if he gets those guys that want to strike and that are not like, the top 5 level, like the Tills or Whitakers, obviously Adesanya's of the world, he will put them out. I know he got knocked out against Kevin Holland, but that seems almost forgotten because he's had 2 spectacular knockouts since then. And then I also enjoyed his call out of James Krause when he wouldn't say his name to Joe Rogan after the fight. He's like, you know who I'm talking about. I want him next. And yeah, that's good matchmaking from Joaquin. They had back and forth words, saving like the UFC the trouble. Just put on that fight. It's going to be entertaining, and we got a real beef here.
I agree. They'll make it. Dana will make it. And then next up on the card, we got my girl Antonina Shevchenko. Again, the Shevchenko sisters, 2-0 on the night. Really displayed a lot of really good improvements in her wrestling and grappling games against Ariana Lipsky, who is a Muay Thai striker to start, but also has a good ground game that some people would think on paper would be better than Shevchenko's coming into this. But Shevchenko's becoming real complete mixed martial artist in all facets of it, and wouldn't that be something if we started to see a Shevchenko versus Shevchenko sister championship or something?
I don't think they'd ever do that.
Maybe
Valentina moves up or something, but yeah, it's good for both of them.
Just to have her be the rightful next one would just be a cool scenario to have.
But, good for both of them. Antonina worked on all her mistakes that she had against Caitlyn. I know Lipsky's nowhere compared to the level of where Chookagian is, but she's still a tough opponent. She has that submission skills and everything, but Antonina with the headlock takedowns almost so many times, just held there, and then ground and pound was very nice. It was sharp, and she got a TKO, only her 4th finish of her career. I actually enjoyed that fight a lot. I thought she just dominated start to finish and got the job done. Next up, Nicholas Dalby, the underdog, beat the heavy favorite Daniel Rodriguez. I had Daniel Rodriguez in my parlay, and I thought he would definitely get it done given that he's had a great 2020, and I just thought he was a better fighter as well. And he won some striking exchanges, but Dalby just looked sharper and was way more active. He was pushing forward, but Rodriguez was just not busy enough to take that fight, I thought.
Yeah, it's something I saw in fight film kind of beforehand where, Dalby had more output, a lot more footwork and stuff, but Rodriguez, when he'd fought those guys, it almost seemed like, he was just being more efficient. These other guys were just wasting energy. I was saying I have to admit, I was watching this fight through a window. I was having a little smoky poo with the boys outside, and I came back in, and some of my buddies were pretty confident that Rodriguez had won. The exchanges that I saw on the feet, it seemed like Rodriguez was clipping him or landing his shots, but when it got kind of dirty and pressed against the fence, Dalby just really did a better job of controlling the octagon, controlling the action, and giving more for the judges to look at and judge. So I can't complain about it. I think it could have gone the other way in some other universes. I know DC and them were saying when I came back in that they think D-Rod won it. But what can you say?
Yeah, I bet on D-Rod, but I didn't even think he was super active to get the win, especially early on. He started really slow. He also got knocked down in the first round, so that was a clear round to Dalby, and then to finish too, Dalby, I don't know, he was just more active, and that's probably what got him the win. I can see it being similar to the Holloway Volkanovski fight, you know, where
Right.
maybe Holloway's winning, but the judges see that Dalby's more active.
Then there was Alan Jouban against Jared Gordon. Alan Jouban coming off that ACL surgery, getting old. I think he's like 36 years old, but still putting on some killer-ass performances. Had good cardio, didn't shy away from a gunfight. Wasn't really too precautious when he was throwing, too timid to throw the strikes. He was in there to fight, and he got it done.
Yeah, dude, that was a great fight, I thought. Jouban just showing all the heart he could. Like, Gooden clearly had the power advantage, and when he landed, it was more dangerous for Jouban. But then Jouban, like, just his experience and his versatility, he gave him a lot of nice body kicks. He would switch to the head and stuff. He would land some damage. And Jouban was way more active. He was pushing the pace, and he almost got a guillotine towards the end. If you've seen that video of the last 15 to 20 seconds of that fight, Jouban just locking in as tight as possible. He asked his corner, how much time we got? And then they yell across, they're like, 15 seconds. And Jouban just goes, and then he just starts squeezing, and he almost got the tap, but Gooden just held on for the last few seeds, and that
I'll
was
put a picture of Gooden's fucking head
Yeah.
veins coming out down here, because that was unreal. How when you could see when Gooden said, "All right, time to anaconda squeeze, give it everything I got in the last 10 seconds," and then all the blood vessels and shit came out in his head.
Yeah.
It was unreal. But good fight again. Another one killer ass fight on the card.
I really enjoyed it. That was an awesome fight.
So the second fight on the card, we got Kyle Daukaus, another Philly boy, becoming more and more prevalent in the UFC and Dana White Contender Series. Been a mixed bag of results with Paul Felder losing last weekend, but love to see him in the mix. Kyle Daukaus, 0-1 in the UFC, went against Brendan Allen in his first fight. Is a tough one to start off with, especially when you're primarily a grappler like Kyle Daukaus is. I was really confident he was going to get it done against Stoltzfus, and he pretty much did everything I thought. Used his range well. Really, I felt like was the much better grappler in the exchanges, whether it was offensive wrestling and then in the submission game as well. So bringing another one home for the Philly boys, Kyle. Great work.
Yeah, I could give a fuck about the whole Philly thing, but I had a little money on him, so it's good that he won. I was watching the fights with a bunch of people, and they were all like, dude, who's this lanky guy? He's about to get knocked out real quick, but they don't know better, you know?
Exactly.
But he did what he had to do, like you said. Grappling, clinch, striking, he was better all around, got the win.
Looks real young. I think he still needs to mature, get a little, whether it be a little thicker or a little more, whatever it might be. But I think when people are a little more aggressive on the feet and swing a little harder and are more primarily strikers with some good takedown defense, he might have some troubles. But he'll keep progressing. He's really young.
Exactly, and he only has upwards to go from here. He looked good in his last test, so I have good hopes for him. To kick off the UFC 255 card, we had Sasha Palatnikov, who beat Louis Kosi by TKO. We had Kosi, he was a big favorite, and I honestly thought what Palatnikov did to Kosi would do to Palatnikov, but sometimes it just plays out the complete opposite, and the underdog just gets it done. What do you think, Ian?
Yeah, I think the problem here is, you look at some of his Kosi's record and stuff, and it's all first-round finishes, which on the one hand makes you think, oh, this guy's a killer. He's fucking hammering people in the first round. Nobody can stop him. It doesn't even take him 5 minutes to get these guys out of there. Then you think, on the other hand, shit, he's never seen the second or third round. If somebody does get to the second or third round, it could be some gas tank problems, could be some, new water territory problems. I think that's exactly what happened. Palatnikov survived the early onslaught in the first round, and Kosi was gassed and was in a position he's never had to face before in the second and third.
That gas tank, I would have given it more consideration if Palatnikov was a little more experienced. I'd be like, maybe he'll withstand like the early barrage, but then he'll come back and win, which he did. But he wasn't. It was his first fight in the UFC, I think, and then he just beat Kosi like that. He said that I could see him gas out and just finished him there.
Palatnikov, repping Hong Kong, fights in the United Arab Emirates. Comes out, speaks perfect English, totally American accent. That threw me for a loop at the end there. Sasha Palatnikov out of Hong Kong and fighting out of United Arab Emirates is totally American.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the flag, and then he started talking, and obviously the way he looks, he didn't look like he was from Hong Kong.
Right.
But I guess UAE has that connection. But then he started talking in perfectly fluent, good English. That's actually going to help him if he ever gets to the top.
Oh, I think he's just American.
Yeah, that English plus that carrying that Hong Kong flag and then fighting out of UAE is just going to help him.
So many people to back him. Yeah.
All those fans are going to back him up, and he can speak well, so that's a good advantage as well.
Right. So that wraps it up for us for the UFC Figueiredo versus Perez results and reactions. If you're still with us, go check out our predictions coming up for the UFC Curtis Blades versus Derek Lewis card coming up this Saturday. Break down all the bets and some good, maybe some underdog bets or some parlay locks to throw in, make some money for you guys every week. So check that out.